I'm almost halfway through this game, but if we wait until I've finished it, it'll take until the other side of Christmas. This isn't a crafting survival game, but at first glance I will admit it does look like one. Now I'm playing this on PC because the console version doesn't come out until the 5th of November. The game is running at bare minimum graphics, I'm running my capture card as well, and my laptop is just about coping. Just. What I'm trying to say is, if it looks a bit crap, that's my fault, not the game's. You're going to want to play through the tutorial first, or as the game calls it, the Pioneer Obligatory Onboarding Program. Because this is not crafting survival, it's an automation game. It's all about building factories that build stuff for you. At first, you'll only need a small number of simple items. Very quickly though, the game's milestones start asking for much larger quantities of various items. Each milestone you complete unlocks new technology. Crafting stuff is easy, nothing other games haven't done a million times already. Mine ore, turn ore into ingots, turn ingots into stuff, and sometimes turn stuff into other stuff. The beauty of mining the nodes is they provide an unlimited amount of a resource. They never run dry. The various facilities can be connected by conveyor belts. These transfer items from place to place, allowing entire production lines to be set up, from ore extraction to final product. Eventually you'll have to build the space elevator. And I'm sorry, but not really. No matter how many times I see it, this is fucking cool. This isn't a cutscene, by the way. I'm still playing. Now, to complete the elevator's phases, you have to feed them special project components, components unique to the elevator. Once you do that, it unlocks even more milestones for you to complete that will open up new tech for you to explore. And to do all of this, you will need power. At first you'll be stuck with the bioburners. I say stuck because you have to constantly fill them with leaves and branches. Honestly, if anything's going to put you off this game early on, it's this. Refuel, Refuel. Re-sodding fuel. Bloody hell. You know, what makes it worse is that in most crafting survival games, resources respawn. Trees, rocks, it doesn't matter how many times you cut that tree down or smash that wood to pieces, they just respawn after a day or half a day in game. In this game, bushes and trees do not respawn, which means that once you've harvested those nearby bushes and cut down nearby trees, every time you want to refill your bioburners again, you have to go a bit further away from your base to find the next clump of bushes and trees to harvest, and none of them ever grow back. The quicker you get off the bioburners, the better. Ta-da! Coal power, yeah! A coal power station requires two things: coal, duh, and water. This means you can mine a coal node and pipe water infinitely into the station. No more scavenging for bushes and twigs, thank Christ. Of course, all this is assuming you can find somewhere with both water and coal nearby. Water is transportable, but not until later. For now, you have to pipe it. Coal is easy to transport, however, via vehicle, so aim for a water source. Like nodes, water sources can't be exhausted. Though you might be exhausted if, like me, you ping and mark the location of every resource near your base. The marker system is excellent, by the way, lots of customization. It just takes bloody ages to mark them all. And it's round about this point in the game where you really start to appreciate the 3D nature of it. Or start hating it. With one coal-fired power station, you simply connect the pipes, connect the conveyors, and done! But when you try to put a second station next to it, that's when you discover you cocked up the placement of everything. Suddenly, you're forced to create two interlocking spaghetti junctions to get all the resources past each other because they're all in each other's way and they're all... Once you're more familiar with the system, you can create a much better setup, placing pipes and conveyors up high, allowing players and vehicles to pass underneath, instead of building narrow, awkward bridges like what I did here the first time. I seriously, don't do this, it's a pain in the arse. Placing pipe junctions and conveyor splitters ahead of needing them allows future expansions without demolishing entire swathes of effort you've already put into the area. I'm particularly proud of my Caterium factory setup. Caterium is this game's version of gold, although quite why the game doesn't just call it gold when it calls everything else a straightforward name, I've no idea, but whatever. My factory has these belts, as you can see, which all loop around and back and over each other in a very nicely compact way. It's almost as if I planned it. But imagine the world isn't convenient. Suppose that puddle of water doesn't have a coal reserve right next to it. What do you do then? I mean, I suppose you could build a 50-mile conveyor belt. I mean, you can have a tractor, you can transport the coal yourself, but I don't want to be bothered with doing that. And in any case, this game is all about automation. Naturally, the developer was a mile ahead of me. You can just get the computer to do it. The system will record a route as you drive along in your truck. activate the route, get out, and watch the vehicle take off on its own. Now be aware, a truck doesn't follow your every move. It follows the waypoints it dropped behind it as you were driving, adopting the speed and direction you were going when it was dropped. So bear that in mind when going through narrow gaps. Also, the truck can't do 3-point turns. The system assumes that you're always going forwards. But if you're planning on getting cargo from A to B using a truck along an automated route, you'll need truck stops. Okay, 2 things. First, a truck stop can be set to load or unload, but it can't do both. You have to set it up and pick one ahead of time. Secondly, if you are driving your truck manually and you drive into a truck stop, sometimes it refuses to load or unload at all. You drive in, you press the F key to load, and nothing happens. But there is a workaround. Get out of the truck, go round the back to the crafting bench, switch to the crafting bench tab, switch back, exit, get back in the truck, press F, and presto! So like a lot of people, you probably assume that it's the truck stop that's broken because that's the thing that's supposed to be loading and unloading, and it's not. It isn't the truck stop, it's the truck. You just have to kind of remind it that, hey, there's an inventory here. Having a series of trucks run cargo back and forth for you is great. Right up to the point where some cargo gets sent to the wrong place. I set up a coal distribution hub because I wanted the coal to be gathered together and sent to 2 separate power stations. Then, in my infinite wisdom, I decided one truck could send coal out to a station and bring the raw quartz back in to a factory en route. Somehow the quartz skipped over the factory and got into the coal distribution hub. The quartz was then transported out to both of my coal-fired power station systems, jammed the inlets, and shut down my entire power grid. Which is why, when I built my steel plant, I included a smart splitter. That routes coal into the plant and everything else safely away. I can thoroughly recommend it. Another thing you'll have to do is build an actual power grid. Not just placing the facilities down, but you have to connect them all. You have to put down power poles and then string cables between them, and then string those cables to the various facilities to make sure the electricity gets to where it's needed. One tiny problem though, the power poles only allow 4 connections each. That can cause issues when you're trying to string together a relatively simple network of smelters and constructors. The number of times I've tried to connect a cable to a pole that's already full. Do you know, in this game, sometimes I feel less like a factory magnate and more like an electrician. This music is driving me bonkers! It started a short time after I started playing. I think it's celebrating its 1-year anniversary, leaving early access or something, but I can't turn it off! Every time I enter my base or go anywhere near the hub, the music! It was fun for the first couple of hours, but holy shit! Shut up, shut up, shut up! And guess what? Turning off the music doesn't work. It just keeps going. The only way to stop it, and there is a way, is to disable seasonal events from the menu. You have to restart your game for it to take effect. Oh, but when you do, oh, sweet relief. Yes, it was that bad. What made them think that was a good idea? I really don't get it.
Milestone reached. Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid, which makes it easier to manage placement of any structure. In the event that you are experiencing amnesia for all events prior to planetfall, be reassured that memories of beloved humans and/or animals would have only been distractions from your important mission.
Completing milestones unlocks new tech, but there's a lot of separate research that can be conducted in the MAM. Some of that research unlocks new ways of working with materials, but also new equipment. The rebar gun. Explosives. The exo legs. The parachute. Someone wanted this game to be fun. Music notwithstanding. It's not a crafting survival game, but there are enemies. Occasionally. The enemies are always near something significant. Alien artifacts, power slugs, wreck sites, resource nodes. Although weirdly, limestone is usually unguarded. And you need a lot of limestone, so it doesn't make any sense. Smaller enemies can be dealt with. The combat in this game is a bit awkward. I suspect it's either been made like that or left like that deliberately. Larger enemies, however, are a genuine threat. They hit hard and they're bloody fast. Which is why I usually just run them all over in the truck. In fact, just run over everything. It's easier. Except for those insect nests. Those, if you can run them over, I haven't managed it yet. It's always better to build several specialised factories, certainly at the beginning, rather than trying to create one huge supersized factory that does everything. But you should consider building upwards, not just outwards. There's a lot of space up there in the sky that you could be using. Most games say, yes, you can build that here, or no, you can't. This game, however, also has a meh. Blue means yes, you can build here. Red means no, you can't. But if the build icon in this game turns yellow, it means yes, you can build that there, but it might physically clip through an existing structure. But if you don't care, we don't. It's almost as if it's letting you cheat. Oh god, and then on top of the milestones and the research in the MAM, there's also the Awesome Shop. That's literally what it's called. It's an acronym, I can't remember what it means. But dropping excess items into the Awesome Sink generates coupons. And those coupons can be spent in the shop. That's deliberately designed to look like a decadent capitalist microtransaction storefront. It's kind of amusing in a terrifying way. But it isn't a microtransaction storefront. All the currency is in-game. Now personally, I strongly recommend you get the ladder first. You'll get no end of use out of it, especially if you're in the habit of building vertically. And for the love of... Can someone please explain why these big bastards keep trying to enter my base? Every single time I come back, he's always there banging on the door trying to get in. If you leave your base open to the air, he walks over your conveyors, machines. He doesn't do any damage. Hell, he doesn't even get in your way. But he does get stuck, and it's kind of annoying. Get off my lawn! Some say they prefer the simple top-down nature of 2D factory games. I say they can't do this. Admittedly, this is a complicated mess of conveyors. You need a logic diagram to help unscramble. But it does show the kinds of things you can do with the 3D space. And yes, this factory does work. And there's no shortage of tools to help you build any kind of production line you might need. There are upgraded levels of facilities that build things quicker. Some resource nodes output material faster. Even belts have different speeds that can be employed to your advantage. And for those of you who are really into tweaking, there's overclocking that lets you fine-tune the production speeds of everything to optimize your output. This game has an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam from both critics and players, and I expect it will have on console as well when it releases. It takes the familiar feel of crafting survival and turns it into something different, an exchange of survival gauges for rigorous crafting systems. I know I'm not the only one who's slightly addicted to this. Although I am yet to start seeing conveyor belts in my sleep. Although that might be because my actual job involves conveyor belts. Gameplay advantage to me! Or a severe psychological problem waiting to happen. you're going to need a semi-technical mind to deal with this game. All the conveyor belts and the power cables and the resources going hither and thither through various facilities, never mind at ground floor, but along all the floors you choose to build, sending things up, down, sideways, round, and it can get a bit much sometimes. Building a single production line is easy. Building a factory with combined lines and splitting them and merging them, it gets complicated pretty quickly. Trying to build a network of factories that all combine things maybe into a central facility to get everything sent off to the space elevator, that's hard. And it can be very engrossing. A lot of people really like this game, and I can see why, because I like it as well. In fact, I haven't been able to put it down. So, I think that'll do for this video, because if I don't end this now, I'll just keep on whittering on. What did you think of it? Leave a like or dislike down below. What do you think of Satisfactory, or is that a stupid question given its overwhelmingly positive rating online? Leave a comment down below, and for those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification, that's a separate thing. Or if you want to inflict my irritating persona on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.